Have you ever looked at your dog and thought, wait a second, does this dog actually think he runs the house? Maybe he decides when you get out of bed, maybe he steals your spot on the couch and gives you that look like, yeah, I live here too. Or maybe you call him 5 times, and he looks at you like you just interrupted something very important. Well, you might be laughing about it now, but some of these little behaviors can tell you something important about the relationship between you and your dog. And no, I'm not talking about some old school idea that your dog is secretly plotting to become the alpha. Dogs don't think like that. What they do learn very quickly is what works. And if your dog discovers that ignoring you, demanding attention, guarding resources, or pushing boundaries gets him what he wants, guess what? He's going to keep doing it. So today, let's look at 5 signs your dog thinks he's the boss of the house, and what you can do about each one. And trust me, number 5 is the one many dog owners completely overlook. Picture this. You're sitting on the couch. Your dog walks over. He puts his paw on you. You pet him. He pushes harder. You keep petting him. Then he starts whining. So you give him even more attention. Sound familiar? Here's the funny part. Your dog isn't necessarily thinking, I am the leader of this household. He's thinking something much simpler. That worked. Dogs are incredibly good at connecting actions with consequences. If pawing you gets attention, if barking gets the door opened, if whining gets treats, your dog learns the pattern. And from his point of view, why would he stop? Imagine being your dog. You've discovered a button that makes your human give you exactly what you want. Of course, you're going to press it. And this is where anthropomorphism actually helps us understand what's happening. Your dog may look demanding, impatient, or even a little bossy, but underneath that behavior, there's often excitement, frustration, anticipation, or simply a learned habit. The good news? You don't have to stop loving your dog. You just have to stop rewarding the demanding behavior. Wait for a calm moment. Then give him the attention he's asking for. You're teaching him. Calm behavior gets rewarded. Demanding behavior doesn't. And that tiny change can make a surprisingly big difference. Okay, this one can be hilarious. You say, "Come here." Your dog looks at you. You say it again. Nothing. You say it a 3rd time. Your dog suddenly becomes fascinated by a leaf. Seriously? The leaf? But here's something important. If your dog consistently ignores a command, don't immediately assume he's being stubborn or disrespectful. There could be several reasons. Maybe he hasn't been properly trained. Maybe the environment is more rewarding than you are. Maybe he doesn't understand what you actually want. Or maybe he has learned that your commands don't really mean anything. And this is where things can quietly get worse. If you say come 10 times and your dog only comes on the 10th, he may learn that the first 9 don't matter. So instead of repeating yourself over and over, make your commands clear. Ask once. Help your dog succeed. And reward him when he gets it right. Because here's the thing. Your dog doesn't need to be afraid of you. He needs to understand you. And that creates something much more valuable than control, trust. But before we get to the biggest sign, there's something almost every dog owner does without realizing it. And it can accidentally teach your dog that he gets to make the rules. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Does your dog decide when it's time to play? When it's time to go outside? When you should get off the couch? When you should give him food? Maybe he starts staring at you at 6 p.m. Then he walks toward the leash. Then he comes back. Then he stares again. And you're thinking, okay, I got the message. So you get up. And just like that, your dog successfully directed the entire situation. Now, routines are actually great for dogs. They love predictability. But there's a difference between having a healthy routine and allowing your dog to constantly control your actions. If every bark gets the door opened, every stare gets food, every whine starts playtime. Your dog learns that demanding behavior works. And here's where your dog's emotions come into play. He isn't sitting there thinking, "Excellent, my human has once again submitted to my authority." He's probably thinking, "I asked for something, and my human understood me." That feeling of success reinforces the behavior. So instead of always responding immediately, start creating moments where you initiate things. You decide when play begins. You decide when training begins. You decide when the walk starts. And when your dog stays calm, that's when the good stuff happens. You're not being mean. You're giving your dog clearer boundaries. And dogs actually feel safer when they understand what to expect. Now we're getting into something you should pay much closer attention to. Does your dog growl when you approach his food? Does he stiffen when you reach for his favorite toy? Does he guard the couch? Maybe he grabs something he shouldn't have, and suddenly turns it into a game of try to catch me. This behavior can be called resource guarding, and it shouldn't simply be dismissed as your dog being the boss. Your dog may be feeling anxious about losing something valuable. That food, that toy, that sleeping spot, even a person. From your dog's perspective, he may be thinking, "This is mine, and I don't know if you're going to take it away." That's very different from some imaginary desire to dominate the household. And here's the urgent part. If your dog is growling, snapping, or showing aggressive behavior around resources, don't punish the warning. That growl is communication. It's your dog saying, "I'm uncomfortable." Take it seriously. If the behavior is intense or getting worse, getting help from a qualified, reward-based dog behavior professional is the smart move. Because you don't want to wait until a warning becomes a bite. Your dog's safety, and your family's safety, matter more than proving who's in charge. But there's still one sign left. And honestly, this one can be so subtle that people mistake it for personality. Your dog may look confident, independent, or even adorable, while quietly learning that the entire household revolves around him. And once you see this behavior, you'll probably start noticing it everywhere. This is the big one. Your dog wants onto the couch. You say no. He jumps up anyway. You remove him. He jumps up again. You say no again. He stares at you. You laugh. You give up. And your dog climbs onto the couch like he just won the Super Bowl. That's not your dog declaring himself king. It's something much more practical. He learned, if I keep trying, eventually I get what I want. And that lesson can spread into everything. Jumping on people, demanding food, pulling toward other dogs, barking for attention, pushing through doors, ignoring commands, stealing objects, and sometimes even guarding spaces. The behavior keeps happening because, somewhere along the way, it paid off. Dogs repeat behaviors that produce rewards. And the reward doesn't always have to be food. Attention is a reward. Getting access to the couch is a reward. Going outside is a reward. Getting you to chase them can even become a reward. So, if you want to change this, consistency is your best friend. If the rule is no couch, it's no couch every day, not no couch on Monday, and fine whatever on Friday. Because your dog doesn't understand exceptions the same way we do. From his perspective, sometimes it works, and that makes him try even harder. So, does your dog really think he's the boss? Probably not in the way people used to think. Your dog isn't sitting at the kitchen table planning his takeover. He's learning. He's watching you. He's figuring out what gets attention, food, freedom, toys, comfort, and access. And every interaction teaches him something. That's why being a good dog owner isn't about being dominant. It's about being clear, calm, predictable, and consistent. Your dog doesn't need a dictator. He needs someone he can understand and trust. And honestly, that's a much stronger relationship. Because when your dog listens to you because he trusts you, not because he's scared of you, that's when you really have something special. So, take a look at your dog today. Does he demand attention, ignore commands, control the routine, guard resources, or keep pushing until you finally give in. If you recognized your dog in any of these signs, don't feel bad. Pretty much every dog owner has accidentally reinforced a behavior at some point. The important thing is noticing it. And if today's video helped you understand your dog a little better, hit the like button. Think of it as a little thank you to your dog for making you watch a video about him in the first place. And if you enjoy learning the little things your dog is trying to tell you every day, subscribe to Dog Facts World, because sometimes your dog is saying a lot more than you think, and you just need to know how to listen.